Welcome to the Explainer. You know, to really start thinking in Italian, you have to make a few key mental shifts away from how you build sentences in English. Today, we're going to crack the code on some common Italian sentence structures that can feel a little strange at first. But trust me, once you see the pattern, you'll get it.
Okay, let's dive right in with a perfect example of something that trips up English speakers all the time. You want to ask, do you live alone? And the Italian is abiti da solo. And right away you're probably thinking, wait a minute, where did the word do go? It's just gone. So what's happening here?
Well, we're going to get to the bottom of it by talking about 4 simple mindset shifts. We'll tackle that missing do, then we'll look at flipping your subject around, why prepositions always have to come first, and then a cool little bonus about how Italians love to combine words.
All right, first up, let's solve the mystery of the missing do. This first shift is all about learning to ditch those extra English words and instead just use your voice to ask simple yes or no questions. This is where the logic really starts to change. In English, to turn "you are tired" into a question, we have to flip the words around to "are you tired?" But in Italian, look at this. The statement "sei stanco" and the question "sei stanco" are written exactly the same. The only difference is how you say it.
And that difference is called intonation. It's just that little lift in your voice at the end of the sentence. In Italian, for these simple questions, that rising tone does all the heavy lifting that words like do or are do for us in English. The question mark is your only visual clue.
So here's the big takeaway for this first part. Stop looking for a word that isn't there. If you want to ask a yes or no question, just take the statement, say it with that upward inflection at the end, and that's it. You've successfully asked a question. It's really that simple.
Okay, let's move on to our next big shift. We've got the simple yes-no questions down, but what happens with more complex, open-ended questions? You know, the ones that start with words like when, or where, or who. This is where we see another really elegant feature of Italian grammar.
So let's start with a simple statement. Antonio passeggia lungo il mare. Antonio walks along the sea. The word order is just like in English. Subject, verb, object. Antonio walks along the sea. Pretty straightforward, right?
But now, watch what happens when we ask a question like, when does Antonio walk? Look closely. Quando passeggia Antonio? See that? The subject, Antonio, has flipped all the way to the end of the sentence, after the verb. And this isn't some weird exception. It's the natural rhythm of an Italian question.
This is a huge part of what gives Italian its unique music. This subject-verb flip, what grammarians call inversion, is totally standard for most of these open-ended questions. It creates a really natural flow. The main time you don't do this is with perché or why, where the word order usually just stays the same.
All right, our third mindset shift is a big one. And I mean a really big one, because it fights against a deeply ingrained habit for us English speakers, our tendency to just leave prepositions dangling at the end of a sentence. In Italian, you just can't do that.
Think about how we say, who do you live with, or what is it far from? In Italian, that structure is a grammatical dead end. You have to completely flip your thinking. The preposition absolutely must go to the very front of the question. So with who becomes con chi, and far from what becomes lontano da cosa. It's a non-negotiable rule. The preposition always leads the way.
So, with those fundamental shifts under our belt, let's check out a quick bonus concept that builds right on top of what we just learned about prepositions. It's called preposizioni articolate, which basically means combined prepositions.
Now, the name might sound a little complicated, but the idea is actually super simple and elegant. While in English, we keep words like at the or to the separate, Italian often squishes the preposition and the article together into one smooth word.
Take a look. The preposition a, which can mean to or at, combines with the different forms of the. So a plus la becomes alla, and a plus lo becomes allo. It's not a new word with a totally new meaning. It's just those two little words fused together to make the language flow better. Once you start noticing these, you'll see them everywhere.
So the real takeaway from all of this is that learning to speak Italian isn't just about memorizing new words. It's about letting go of your deep-seated English habits and adopting a whole new logic for how you build your sentences. It's really about learning to think differently. And that kind of leaves us with one final thought. What other English habits might be holding your Italian back?